Welcome, happy Sunday to you. This is our couples restorative yoga class, and I have snagged Sage and Grace from my household to help me with this class. So if you're going to join us, you can do this as a couple, friends, partners, or you can just join as a single and I'll just be talking you through it. It's really going to be very little difference if you're single joining us. I've got yoga bolsters and lots of blankets laid out and ready. I also have a Ravi and sandbags to use along the way. So you can substitute a 10-pound bag of rice, works beautifully inside of a pillowcase if you have that around. And I also have eye pillows. So just lots of support and lots of things to help them relax deeply. And that's the whole goal of restorative yoga, is to give you lots of support to slow everything down and go into kind of a deep relaxation where beautiful things happen, where our bodies kind of restore themselves and go into that rest response, build our immunity, kind of recover from exhaustion and stress. So highly recommended for anyone. Okay, so I'm going to come kind of on the side and behind Sage and Grace and get them started, and you can join right along. Okay, so I have both of them with their hips a little bit higher up. They're each on a blanket. This will just make their lower backs a little more comfortable in what we're going to do here for them. So I'm just going to have you hang out here and notice the support behind you. And you want to get to a place where you're kind of perfectly balanced, where you're not feeling like you're having to hold yourself up, but you're really relying on that support of your partner. And for those of you joining us who are doing this as a single, same thing. You want to find a really comfortable seat and just relax your shoulders away from your ears and let your body get nice and soft. And then once you find that place that's really comfortable, I want you to pay attention to your breath and also the breath of the person that's supporting you. So you don't have to match one another's breath, but just gradually and comfortably, I want you to start lengthening your inhales and your exhales. Good. So there is a Ravi right off to your side. Grace and Sage, you can drag that right over your lap and just position it however it's comfortable. And just notice the difference with adding that bit of weight. place a yoga bolster in front of each of them. You can use stacks of blankets in front of you if you don't have a yoga bolster. And I like the support of the bolster in front of me as I go into this. We're about to go into a forward bend for each of them, where the one person who's forward bending will be supporting the person behind them as they lie back on their backs. But people who are really flexible and who are used to forward bending a lot, you may want to do this with no bolster and no blanket. So you can play around with this and see what works best for your body. Okay? So I'm going to have Sage kind of slowly lean forward first. And Grace, you're just going to lean back into him, fully resting as he folds forward. That's that. And just rest your head back. So one of the cool things about partnering up like this is that you learn how to really trust and really support and let go of kind of holding or tension. And that feedback that she's getting from Sage's back is a nice way to practice this. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths right here. Good. Now, Grace, I want you to stay really relaxed, and Sage is going to start pressing up softly through the palms of his hands, just using that bolster to ease yourself slowly up. And then you're going to find that nice symmetry where you started, so that you're both kind of resting upon each other and feeling really kind of just relaxed right there in the middle. Focus on your breath. Good. And Grace, whenever you're ready, it's going to be your side to slowly fold forward. You've got the support of the bolster to use. And Sage, you're just going to really drop back into the support that Grace is offering you. You can notice that kind of back-to-back breathing that y'all have going on together. Good. And Sage, stay nice and relaxed. Grace is going to kind of press slowly and gently back up. You can use that bolster, Grace. And then finding that nice balance right in the middle for both of you again. Nice. Let's send both of your arms out to the side and reach your arms way up overhead and just interlace your hands or wrap your wrists somehow comfortably. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. And again, breathe in, and as you exhale, open your arms out to the side. Open shoulders and all the way down. Nice. Good. Okay. So from here, we're going to go into kind of a more separated position for each of them, but I'm going to keep their heads kind of close together, aligned together, so that the rest of the class, I want them to hear each other breathing. And as you hear your partner breathing, it's going to be kind of a support and an encouragement for that deep breath to continue. And that so that support comes not just in a place of physicality, but it comes from an emotional place and a mental place and an awareness place as well. All right, so we are going to have you lying on your backs with your heads towards the camera and your feet out on a diagonal, okay? And when you get there, you're going to go ahead and place your hips on top of your bolster. If you sit on your bolster, this will be a good way to enter into this. So I'm just unfolding the blankets that they were sitting on. Yeah, so your hips are going to be still up on this yoga bolster. Yeah, supported bridge is where we're headed. It feels weird at first. Good. And go ahead and bend your knees so that your lower back is supported and relaxed here. So you can use a yoga bolster at home, or you can use a couple of thick blankets. Just make sure that your back is comfortable here, and if it doesn't feel good to you, just place the hips all the way down. Are you comfortable there? Okay. Sage, you okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Take some deep breaths right here. Good. Now, one at a time, you're going to draw your knees towards your chest. So just slowly cruise one knee first, and then the other knee will follow. So both knees in towards your chest. Yep. And then if you have a Ravi and you're comfortable with this, you're going to just settle that Ravi right over the lower legs. Where's your Ravi?
I stole it.
Oh, she stole your Ravi. It's here. All right, so you can hold on to the corners here. It might be a nice place just to relax your arms while you're here. And just notice that weight. Relax your back and let it lengthen out underneath. Nice deep breaths. Remember, as we use restorative yoga, we typically stay in a position for a much longer period of time than in like a regular yoga class or even a stretch class. So it's a great opportunity to practice what that is, to kind of go towards stillness and relaxation, especially with some support and some encouragement to help that to happen. But remember, you always have the freedom to adjust your position, take off weight if it feels too much, put your legs down if it's just not working. You still, adjust what needs to be changed. Your body's really smart in communicating its needs to you, especially in this place of kind of growing awareness and listening. Good. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to reach for the lower ends of the Ravi, and we're going to start to send our feet up in the air, hooking the Ravi over the bottom of the feet as they go. So the Ravi is going to be balanced on the bottoms of your feet. Yeah, and then you can hold the front corners of the Ravi if you want, if that feels better, or you can just dangle there with your feet overhead. Beautiful. No injuries yet. Nice. So this is similar to the restorative position of legs up on the wall, but we've got the weight of the Ravis over the bottoms of the feet. Just more support to relax. Go ahead and notice how everything feels. You don't have to stay perfectly still. We'll be here for 3 more deep breaths. This softly, you're going to reach for the front corners of the Ravis as you start to bend your knees. And we'll be sliding the Ravi right back over the lower legs where it was before, right back to that bent knee position for a moment. That's it. Notice how your legs feel and how your lower back feels. Good. Now you're going to grab the front corners of your Ravi or your blanket if you have a blanket on over your legs at home. And as you set 1 foot at a time back towards the ground, that Ravi is going to slide up to your chest and your belly. Good. So anywhere on the front of your torso that feels good, you can adjust it. Let's keep your knees bent at this point. Yep. Couple of deep breaths here. Maybe notice if you can hear your partner's breath. You don't have to match it, but just be encouraged and supported by it. Good. From here, what you're going to do is lift your hips up just enough to push the bolster out from underneath your hips and down towards your feet a little bit. That's it. So that your hips are resting all the way on the floor. And then you're going to place the bottoms of your feet up on the bolster where your hips used to be. Good. You can push that bolster a little further away from your hips if that's more comfortable. Good. And very slowly, very gently, we're going to start to send both knees off to one side. Just let the knees drop over one way or the other. And gently float them back through center. And ease them over to the other side. And back up through center. Take your time and do this a couple more to each side, just as far as you're comfortable with going. And Grace and Sage are doing great big rotations here. You may want to do a smaller rotation side to side. Just keep it slow and gentle. Last time, breathing well. Nice. Coming back into center. And you can send those Ravis off to the side. We'll come back to them for a moment. And you can gently roll your way kind of away from me onto your sides. And you're going to ease your way up to sitting for a moment. All right, nice change in position. Now we're going to have your bolster kind of long ways. And you're still going to have this blanket up top for your head to go towards. But you're going to be resting prone or face down over your yoga bolster or a nice thick stack of blankets. So Grace, belly, shoulders, and hips all resting over that bolster. Same thing for you, Sage. So we'll put that right here. Face down, blanket in front. Yeah. And so the blanket that is close to your head, you can fold that and shape it any way that's comfortable for you. You may want to fold it and have it just kind of underneath your forehead. You may be comfortable turning your head all the way to one side. And remember, you can adjust that position anytime along the way and see what works best for you. So I'm going to drag Grace's Ravi right over the top of her. And same thing for Sage. And just because I have lots of other little treats and goodies for them, I'm going to slide a round neck pillow underneath their ankles just for a little more support under the feet. Good. And then I also have a sandbag to put over the soles of their feet while they're in position. So settling in here, this is a great kind of double feedback for a deep breath pattern, because as you do your belly breathing, which is also called diaphragmatic breathing, sending that breath way down so that your belly expands forward. As you practice this on top of blankets or a bolster, you can feel your belly expanding out into that pressure. And then the same thing for the back of the rib cage. As you breathe really deeply, you'll feel the ribs pushing up towards the weight of that Ravi and then sinking back down into place. So whichever kind of focus you want to use, or maybe kind of switching or aware of both dynamics, we're going to settle in here for a good 3 minutes or so in quietness. attention to how your whole body feels now. Just take a little body scan and notice how you feel overall. And I'm going to gently drag the Ravis off of these two. If you're dragging it off on your own, just stay relaxed and kind of reach for a corner. It's a nice sensation, even that dragging dynamic of the weight coming off your body. It's really cool. So the next position we're going to go towards is a side lying position that's going to be supported with the yoga bolsters and blankets and such. So I'm going to have you both kind of gently roll off your bolster onto your right sides. That's it. And then your bolster is going to be pretty much in place to rest your left knee up and across. And your left arm also across the top of that bolster. Yeah, and then adjust that blanket so that your neck feels like it's in just the right kind of height and place, that it feels comfortable. Yeah, you can fold it up, exactly. It's like the position when you're in bed at night where you really want to find the perfect way to sleep on your side. This helps you find that place. And then I'm going to drag the Ravi back on top of that upper hip and waistline. Same thing with the sandbag and the ankle pillow underneath. Making any adjustments. If something doesn't feel right, give it a wiggle, adjust, and move it around until you find just the right place. Nothing wrong with that. Turning your attention right back to your breath. Maybe noticing what part of your upper rib cage is moving with that breath. deep breaths right here. And I'm going to start to drag the Ravi off. Good. So to gently go to your second side, go ahead and roll onto your back gently. And maybe take a moment just flat on your back. Just notice how your back feels. Notice the width of your back resting on the support of the floor. Good, and then you're going to reach for that bolster that was on your right side and just drag it across the top of your body over to your left side. And we'll be rolling onto that left side. Using the bolster to rest your top knee and your top arm on. Take your time getting everything in just the right place, no hurry. And then when you feel like you've hit that right place, you can drag the Ravi back on top of the hip and the top rib cage. There you go. Paying attention to that breath again. Really using all the places that are supporting your body. Letting go of tension. deep breaths on this side. Start to drag the Ravi off again. So coming out of this the same way, just softly rolling onto your back. Taking some time right here, resting on your back. Notice how everything feels. And we're going to set up next in your kind of typical Shavasana position or relaxation pose. So staying on your back, you can adjust the height of your head behind you. If you want to flatten out the blankets a bit and make them a little bit kind of closer to the ground. And then the bolster is going to slide underneath your knees. And then you're just going to stretch your feet out so that your legs are supported. Get this a little higher up. There you go. Good. I'm going to place your Ravi over the front of your body, but it can really go anywhere. If you want to put the weighted Ravi over your thighs or lower legs, there's no right or wrong, anywhere that feels good. Same thing with the sandbags. I think I'm going to place that little neck roll under the ankles for support. And then the weight coming from the top. So I like what I did with Grace. I'm going to slide this underneath support closer up, yeah, and then drop so that your heels, that's it. So I've just put them so that their heels are making contact with the floor, and then the weight from on top is resting over the ankles. Good. Finding a comfortable place for your arms. They could be out to the side, palms up. They could be right beside you. They could be on your belly, wherever they're comfortable. Go ahead and place an eye pillow over their eyes. spend a good 10 minutes here in this final position. So no hurry. Maybe on purpose, give your body permission to really let go. There's no work to be done, nothing to accomplish. Just receive. just a couple of words about restorative and all the many benefits that come out of it. It's not so much that we have to measure them and see how well we did. We never want to turn anything into a performance or expectation. But there's so many dynamics about our lives. We can do so much. We can work, we can play, we can build, we can create, we can learn and grow. But just as important as all of those things are, it's important for us to rest. And often we leave that until the very end. And then at that point, our bodies have suffered. So I just encourage you to remember that rest is part of that dynamic of living that's just as important as the rest. So thank you for joining us. If you're comfortable where you are, just stay put as long as you can. And I hope you feel great. Peace.